It is, of course, decision day for the Monetary Policy Committee. They will be making a decision on the benchmark interest rate as well as other parameters like the cash reserve ratio, as we just discussed. Will they hike? Will they hold? Joining us to give us his thoughts, as he always does, our Rise business analyst, Chika Mbonu. Chika, you're very welcome, sir. Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning.
So very soon, I think about 2:30.
Actually, 12. I just got it. 12 noon.
12 noon today.
That's when they start there. Yeah, 12 noon. So we'll see what happens.
We'll hear the ritual. The bi-monthly Monetary Policy Committee meeting.
Yes.
Started yesterday and will end today. I think this is last for the
year.
Yeah. Then it's really a tricky time during the political campaigns, and then the new government going to change.
Yeah.
Election in February, and so but there are challenges on the ground. Starting from the macroeconomy worldwide.
Yes.
What are the issues facing the central bank governors worldwide? The same issue. Everybody is facing inflation.
Yep. And
inflations that are unprecedented. The kind of inflation in most economies, whether it's in the United States of America, whether it's the United Kingdom, or whether it's the European Union, and or other even Asian countries, the kind of inflation that nobody has seen in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And what tool do the central bank governors have? Basically, you dry up, reduce the amount of currency, chasing the goods you have in your country. So, what do you do by that? Increase interest rates. So the Federal Reserve Bank in US, increase interest rate. The UK people also the same thing.
Yeah.
European Central Banks also the same thing. And so you bring it home. You notice at the last September meeting, our Central Bank also did the same thing. Moved the anchor rate for the economy, which is the monetary policy rate, to 15.5%. Very unprecedented. I think between May and now, they have moved by 400 basis points.
Yep.
And then the cash reserve ratio that had been all low.
We analyze it all the time.
22.5 to 27.5 to 32.5%.
Yes.
That's also massive. All towards, and the liquidity ratio was kept at 30%. All towards drying up the sucking in naira, holding the naira down, and then so that very few naira will chase the goods that we have in the economy. Yeah. You see, but the issue is when you look at inflation that way, one will ask therefore that how have the initiatives done in September impacted inflation?
Yep.
You see, the inflation moved to about 21.05%.
That's correct.
It actually moved up. So do you say there that they have been impactful? And the economic analysts will tell you that because of the fact that the inflation in Nigeria is not totally driven by the demand side. There's the supply side issues. Remember, too much money chasing too few goods.
Yeah.
It works that way. The demand side works that way. If the supply side is optimum, everything is okay, working very well. Then if you reduce the quantum of money in the circulation, it will also help the inflation, bring inflation down.
Right.
But if you have, the equilibrium in the supply side that we have in Nigeria, the security challenges, fuel price increases, value chain interruptions, you have problems. So again, there's a question mark on would the increase in interest rates actually help in moderating inflation in Nigeria? So what will Central Bank do today by 12 in the next less than 1 hour's time? We'll hear from the CBN governor. A lot of people believe that we're still chasing inflation. And that therefore, because of the issue, keeping an eye on the real interest rates and the desire to, support, stimulate investments, especially foreign portfolio investors, and reduce the negative interest return, that there's intention at least we're going to move about 100 basis points.
Oh, wow.
So we're looking from 15.5 to 16.5.
Yeah.
But the issue, again, is that that's the issue with economic actions. If you do one thing on the one hand, it will impact the other hand. Because as you are pushing interest rates up, it's affecting output.
Yeah. Borrowing costs.
Borrowing costs are going higher. And if borrowing costs are going higher, it will affect productions and the demand also. And so a balance of the output, really inflation. Output inflation. You always have that in your head. And at the last GDP levels, CBN could say, oh yes, we could manage that. And then, so let's chase inflation. Inflation is the key parameter now for us. But the Nigerian economy, as the World Bank talked about, IMF talked about, in their report, what are the key issues? The same old thing that have been chasing us in the last 30, 40 years. One is poor fiscal policies. The revenues are down. We're running budget deficits. Debts, we're borrowing to finance consumption. There's even a report that came on the one as, they don't have to write it, that the finance minister was borrowing about $80 million. I don't know if I saw it to finance stationery and so on, and chairs and so on. People just talked about it. So that's a major issue for us. The issue of high-level fiscal deficit above the 5% allowed in the CBN Act. So what IMF is saying, we must force that down to that level, not to the level this is now. Which that means we hear is about 20 trillion or plus. So also the expectation is that should come down, and then it had been mooted that will be basket into bonds and then sold out to individuals. So if you leave CBN balance sheet and become we have Nigerian citizens as bondholders, that becomes moderate. So the IMF talking CBN, stop opening the tap for the government. Let them borrow structurally. Now that puts the light now on the other 10, which is CBN intervention funds.
Yes, with the IMF saying
IMF saying also that.
What do you make of it?
The issue is, how did that arise? How did that arise? Now, the banking system should supply the loans required by all other sectors of the economy.
Right.
Now, the CBN realized that the banking system, the structure of lending in the banking system, is not always very straightforward. They're going to ask for your arm and a leg before they can lend to agriculture. Some of these sectors are not interesting to the banking system. So that's why CBN, on its own, tried to intervene and lend directly to these sectors. But I mean, should there be a long-term solution? Of course not. The issue is that the limitations or why the banks, conventional banks, are not lending to these sectors should be identified. And CBN, structurally working with the banks, should make sure that does not happen. And so that CBN, as IMF wants, should focus on price stability, which is a major function. As it is now, CBN is so distracted, in everywhere. You remember we called the CBN governor here, the aviation minister, the education minister, the agriculture minister, everything will give it to him here. So that's basically what the IMF is saying, that the CBN should focus on that. But you heard the president celebrate the CBN governor, and with our usual economic policies. That's what has kept us alive in the country. And so that's basically what it is. I mean, if you talk to Mr. Godwin Emefiele, he will tell you that that had helped us. That, for example, during the COVID, Nigeria survived. It survived. And so the issue, therefore, is this, that these interventions are outside, usually, the structured fiscal system of the government. And they don't come into the basket where you're calculating inflation. So when you're managing inflation in one basket, all this money are pouring in from different segments, usually even at lower interest rates. And so you can create these economies in the system because of the fact that not everybody can access the CBN loans at 9%. So whereas your competition is borrowing money at 20-something%, you, because of your structure and network, you're able to borrow at 9%. It causes disaffection in the system.
Gotcha.
So that's the major issue. One of the downsides of the CBN interventions is if the 9% are available to every borrower in the system, then they can understand that. But the issue now is that the big boys are the people who are able to access this money at 9%, and it causes disequilibrium in the system. And then it distorts the financial equation when you're looking at the flow of money in the system.
Fantastic stuff. Chika, so I don't even know what will happen. I think they will hold or they will hike.
I believe that inflation is still high. You saw the last inflation figure that came up.
21%.
We thought that it's going to moderate. Then, because of the issues of flood, we're looking forward to the end of the year harvest.
Exactly.
But flood medicines also. Look at the price of rice now. It's going for 6,000. You may not know because you're not married. So for 6,000
Chika, why do you do this? Why do you do this to me?
6,000 naira a bag or 5,000 naira a bag. We've got a season. This is a high consumption season. So inflation, exchange rates, You know, the skate is cost.
Yep.
The naira was hugging the dollar by 1,000.
Yep.
Thank God it is moderated.
Yeah.
So all those basket inflation is still high. We think that maybe CBN will reduce, move the
rate upwards.
MPA.
We'll see what happens. All right, business analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, thanks for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.